My name is Jared Poole, and I'm from Oregon City Christian Academy, and I'll be preaching to you on the tongue. James 3:2-5 says, "For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same as a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whichsoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasts great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire cometh." One of the first things I'm going to talk about the tongue is how we use it. First of all, we can use it for the bad. I don't know about you, but my tongue, my mouth can kind of get me in a lot of trouble. I notice that probably 90% of my problems are caused by me saying something that I probably should not have said. How many times, have we said something and just wished with all our might that we could have taken that back? Saying the pen is mightier than the sword is very true, because the words that we say to someone can hurt way worse than a sword could do to their physical body, because all it does is hurt the physical body, whereas words can cut to their heart. Now, the good you can do with your tongue, you can encourage someone with just a few words. I was sitting in church a couple weeks ago, and someone came by and just shook my hand and said, "Have a great day." And I was kind of down, and they lifted me up and made me feel a whole lot better just with a few words. God can also use our tongue for a witness to the world. One of the first things the world sees is our conversation, and so when our conversation is good and pure and clean, the world notices that. We can also praise God, give Him glory, because it really is quite an amazing thing that we can give God glory with such a filthy thing. He can work through it. What our conversation shows. Matthew 12:34 says, "For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh." What that is saying is that whatever is in your heart is going to come out eventually in what you say. Whatever you say is inside your heart. So if you're constantly spewing bad things, your heart is unclean. James 3:11-12 says, "Set the fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter. Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries, either vine, figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh." This is talking about, James is talking about the tongue and how whatever we say, you can't have good things and bad things coming, out of each side of your mouth. It's either good or bad. Is that if you have, like bad attitude, anger, resentment, envious, lust, etc., it's going to come out. If you have it inside your heart, it's eventually going to come out. So we need to be really careful what we have inside our heart. Why do we need to control our tongue? Ephesians 4:29 says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." We need to make sure we use our tongue to be a building force for others, not to tear them down, rather to lift them up and build them up. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Be thou an example of the believers in word and conversation." Our conversation needs to be example to the world, to the church, because the first thing the world sees is our conversation, and if it's pure and clean, the world really notices that, because like when you're in the workplace, most people around you are cussing and etc., but they notice when you don't do those kind of things. 1 Peter 1:15-16 says, "But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation, because it is written, Be ye holy, for I am holy." We need to control our tongue, because it says here we need to make sure our conversation is holy, because God is holy. We want to show Him through our conversation. Also, every word that we say shall be judged. Matthew 12:36-37 says that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words shalt thou be condemned. Even words just said in passing will be up there in heaven and written down in the book. And I don't know about you, but that's a pretty scary thought. So I really want to make sure I keep everything okay. And also, how many can we show Acts 2:38 to the world if we have so many bad things coming out of our mouth? So, how can we control our tongue? James 3:8 says, "The tongue can no man tame." James 3:2 says, "If any man offend not the Lord, the same as a perfect man." And since none of us are perfect, obviously we can't do it. We can't do it by our own power, because our flesh is weak. We need God's Spirit to help us, because as I said earlier, what is inside our heart is eventually going to come out. So we need God to clean up our hearts so that whatever is inside our heart will show out. And so if it's pure and clean, it's going to come out. Our conversation is going to be pure and clean. We need the Holy Ghost. We need God, because without His help, we can't do it. Our tongue is very powerful. We can use it for good, for bad, to tear someone down, to build them up, to lift God up, or lift ourselves up. We need God's help and His Spirit to help make sure our conversation and our tongue is a witness of the great salvation message of Acts 2:38, which says, "Then Peter said unto them, Repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Jesus Christ, for the remission of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost."